Kind of feels like a hallelujah. And it kind of feels like home when you know no matter what you do, you're never gonna walk this road alone. You wanna find grace, you gotta have faith. Lord knows the good Lord you're willing. Nothing don't mean nothing if it ain't God. No, it don't mean nothing if it ain't got God in it.
Well, hello, this is Jess T on countryradio.uk, and on this evening over here in London, I have the absolutely superb Dave Fenley. Hi, Dave, how are you doing?
Hey, Jess, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Really, really well. You're over in Nashville, yeah?
I am. It's a really beautiful day here. I hear it's kind of balmy and nasty over there right now, huh?
It's not fun. It's not fun. We're
No,
still.
it's a great day here. I almost went outside to record this, but whatever.
No, don't do that. That'll make us really jealous. Look, I've actually closed curtains and made it all sort of cozy and fairy-like in here, just to put off from the fact that it's completely grim outside. And we were talking about just previously hailstones. We've had them in May. It's all very strange. Very, very strange. In fact, it's been a really strange year, but a great year for you. And this is why I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to personally give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the listeners over here in the UK and everyone here at countryradio.uk and Lexicon and Lexicon Radio, that is, because we do have a sister station. But also, as I said to you, you have been so impactful on us over here, and it's really a unique way that we found you. But first of all, just tell us a little bit about you. I know you come from Texas. Tell us a little bit about who you are, Dave.
Yeah, I was born in Texas and raised there for most of my life, and then my father worked for an oil company in Canada, so I actually lived in Canada for 10 years or so, which was kind of how helped me expand my listening to past just country music. That's where I fell in love with a lot of R&B and soul music and some of the Canadian artists that were making music up there. It just kind of opened my eyes to a different world, because especially different ethnicities and backgrounds, as being from the UK, you have a whole big melting pot of different kind of cultures, whereas in small town Texas, we just had little country folk, so it was really great to get to know and fall in love with a whole different litany of people and so many different people that come from different backgrounds. And I think that helped me develop my spread love like peanut butter mentality. And
we'll be talking about that shortly. I love that saying. Dave Fenley loves you. Yes, he does. And we love you.
I think there's so much in this world that just could be fixed by just simple loving one another. And I'm not a person who gets preachy about that kind of stuff. I'm not going to tell you what's better to do, but I just know that what works in my life is loving everybody as much as I can and trying to put goodness out to the world, because I think we need a whole lot more of that.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I'm all about the love over here. I'm all about the love, and I couldn't agree with you more. And, that's what comes across in your music. It certainly did for me. So I know you're from Lufkin in Texas. I know you moved over to Nashville. I know that you did live in Canada. You did leave college to go music full time, which is, a hell of a choice, a big, big choice to make.
My parents were not happy about it.
No, I'm sure they weren't.
Because you don't just leave university. I wrote 3 songs, and they're not even good songs, like in hindsight. But I was like, oh, this is way easier than studying.
Yes.
Somewhere along the way, I wasn't passionate about school anymore. I was really natural. I was good at it. I was smart. I was good at learning. And somewhere along the way, it just became not exciting anymore. And I couldn't figure out why. But I think there was some part of me that wanted to be creative, and more creative than what psychology or business was allowing me to do. And so I started following my heart and following my gut. And sometimes it led me way wrong. But you learn lessons along the path, like that's kind of what life is, and what makes it great is living, not having to be so put in little boxes. But if you get out there and you live, then you fail. And if you fail, you learn. And if you learn, you grow, and then you grow and you get to tell better stories and maybe help someone else's path along the way. I don't know. It's just, it probably seems a little weird to talk about, but I'm not one of those people who lives in this dream world. I just love living and making music.
Do you know what? Honestly, like, that I sound like a little girl, but you genuinely have explained what I think is life's journey in a nutshell, in one go there. I think you hit every nail on the head. That's it. I mean, you certainly bring the passion and the love into your music, into your writing, into your performing, and that's what's become so apparent, and that's what's caught our eye, certainly mine and everybody else. You know, not only on the station but the listeners and the people that you bring joy to with your music, because that's what we're here to do. That's what it's for. And so so you left schools, but it's really interesting actually, because majoring in psychology and business, and that's what you're saying you were studying. I mean, that actually does go hand in hand in lots of ways with music, of course, with when you're self-managed, which you are an independent artist. So the
Right.
business side certainly comes into play there, but also I think the psychology side, actually, because to write a good song and to perform a good song, you need to reach into yourself and you need to delve into your own psychology and then the psychology of everything around you in order to grow into that.
Right. And it's one of those things, just like anybody who wants to be a songwriter, you start out writing in like young, in junior high or elementary, like what which is breakup and heartbreak and all those things.
That's
and
it.
and you don't know how to process all that information. You don't know how to write a good song yet. And so like coming out of high school and going into college, I just like everybody else, you don't really know yourself, but I knew that I was sad for some reason. And I kind of want to understand why. So that's why I did the psychology thing. It seemed like some way to help identify,
Yeah.
because if you can understand depression, maybe you can avoid it. I don't know. It turns out that's not
No, but
true.
that's a great philosophy. That's a great philosophy. And what that actually is something really, really positive. It's turning it into something positive, is to actually recognize and understand something. And that is your self journey, isn't it?
Sure.
And so obviously, as you say, your parents weren't happy about that. So how did you start out? What did you do? Because I'm presuming you went the long road and played the long game, and you were gigging and writing and traveling.
Yeah, I mean, I when I first started out, I went to this bar and I only knew like 5 songs, and I had them in a folder. And so there was another person there that knew how to play like 40 songs, and he was
Right.
like, just turn your guitar down and follow me. And so the very first night, I just played those 5 songs like 3 times over, and we made so much. We made so much. I remember we made $127 in tips, and
That's amazing.
which
That's
was a lot.
amazing.
But
Yeah.
our pay was only $50 at the time. So we
That's
made 100,
amazing.
and so much that somebody had to come up at the end of the night and be like, "Hey, my tab is more than what I have. Can I get $5 of that tip money I back and pay my tab?" So
Awesome.
I felt like it was onto something. Like the very first time I ever played, I was very rewarded by people, and I was like, this might be something that I could do.
Well, it
So
was
I
paying it forward already, because your music was paying it forward, wasn't it? You were getting rewarded because people appreciated it. Obviously, you were earning more money than them, which is absolutely fantastic. But it doesn't always work out that way. But it just goes to show what all that does is give you that dose of positivity about yourself and that little booster to know, actually, maybe I should keep going.
It's amazing how much, because there was a lot of pitfalls after that. But every time I talked about my very first show, I'll never forget how positive it was and how much it fueled me through the times when it was lean, fueled me through the times when I didn't make enough or wasn't making enough or wasn't gratified by an audience, or the audience wasn't, or I was playing the wrong songs for a type of crowd or learning how to interact with an audience. It's amazing how much that first show really came back numerous times. And even talking about it now, I still look back on it as like that is where it started, and that's where it all kind of grew from.
Well, there's always a journey and there's always the start to a journey. And obviously that was it. But, you've been on two massive, massive shows, which, really, I don't imagine catapulted, but brought you to the forefront of, certainly the viewers of the US and across the globe, because that's where I found you, as I said. How did that come about for you? Because you were on America's Got Talent in 2013 and The Voice in 2018. So, I mean, you've seen both sides of the coin there, which is great, and you've got through to two of the biggest talent shows in the USA. So, how did that happen?
It was so weird. Like, The Voice found me first back in like 2011 or something,
Oh
maybe.
wow!
And they asked me to be part of season 2, and I went in to audition and I blew it. Like, I was so bad and I didn't make the show. So I was like, forget reality shows. This is no good. I had tried out for American Idol in like 2007 or 2006, and I didn't make that either. But I blame that on just not knowing myself and not sleeping well and too much anxiety. And when America's Got Talent came around, they found me on the internet and they asked me if I wanted to be a part of the show. And I had just moved to Nashville, and they said, we'll fly you back to San Antonio, and you don't have to worry about waiting in the cattle call lines. We'll just bring you into a private audition. I was like, okay, that sounds way better.
Yeah,
So I did that, and by the grace of God, I made the show, and I sang the Alex Clare song "Too Close," which was really popular. It had just come out on an Apple commercial, and so like it was really
great timing.
popular. And I did that song, and it kind of started the whole fever for me really doing the reality show thing, because until then I had no idea how much fun it was. And then I went out there and I got to make so many relationships, especially on AGT, because it wasn't just other musicians. There was comedians, there was magicians, there was all these different types of creative people that I just love people. So I was a fan of every single person on that show.
Yeah,
And it was really a great experience and fun experience for me. I didn't go as far as I wanted, but I went as far as I was supposed to, because I was also on tour that at the same time with Miranda Lambert.
Miranda
So
Lambert. We're coming on to that. Oh, I know, I know. How amazing was that? Did that led onto that? But
they
you
happened
know,
at the same time. They happened at the same time. I moved to Nashville, and Miranda and Blake Shelton walked into a bar I was at and said, "You want to go on tour?" And I said, "Yes." And then America's Got Talent was like, "You want to come on the show?" And I was like, "Sure." And then it got to
oh,
the point. It got to the point where if I'd gone any farther with America's Got Talent, I would have started missing Miranda shows. And so, and I had other people that were playing with me on the Miranda dates that would have lost money, and it just worked out perfectly. God's hand said, okay, it's time for you to just transition fully into this opportunity with Miranda. So I did the Miranda tour for another year and a half after that, which is kind of which is why I didn't really get a chance to exploit or really promote after America's Got Talent, because I was just so 100% into what I had in my hand, which was the Miranda tour, as Jukebox Mafia is what we were called.
oh, it's awesome. But that's a fantastic opportunity. And you're absolutely right. Everything slots in for the right reason at the right time. It really, really does. You're in the right place at the right time, always.
Yep.
Um, you just don't know it yet. And how exciting. And then obviously that led on to The Voice. And you were Team Blake again in for the Voice in 2018.
Yep.
That was where I believe I saw you, as well. And it was, amazing, amazing. As I was saying to you, so me personally, I listen to music all throughout the day and the night, I can assure you. And it was very, very late night, probably early morning, when YouTube was running and I was listening to country music. And there you were, your audition.
Do you remember what song it was? Oh, it was the audition song that helped me hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wow, it's silence. As I say, silence in the room, because I had people with me and they just went, who is that? David, it was, I remember it specifically. So that says a lot too. I just remember that moment of wow. And then the whole key was, let's hear more of this guy. Let's hear more. What else has he got? And then we find all these covers, and it just, you have your own spin. There is no denying that you've certainly honed your craft so beautifully that you have your own sound. There is no mistaking you. You've been in my car for months, so you're my late night chill, late night
That's
chill
awesome.
zone
Well,
with Dave Fenley.
you're gonna be so excited. I just recorded 5 more covers to come out. So I've got a new plan. I'm releasing a new song every 2 weeks for the
Oh
next
wow,
3 years, starting May 28th. So
that's epic.
coming in 2 weeks, my first single, God in It, which is an original, and then it'll be followed up 2 weeks later by a cover. Uh, I'm not sure if I should tell you which one, but it's going to be epic because I've kind of got a new. Did you hear Grandpa, the one from the Judds that I put out? Uh,
That was the other one. So we heard your audition song, and then we went straight to Grandpa,
yeah,
and I cried and cried and said, play it again. And then I played it to Matt at the station, our producer at the station, and then he played it to Ali, and then everyone started playing it on their shows, and everyone was going, have you heard this? This hits. This song just hits. And the video is so beautifully done. It's just you, it's raw, and that's what's really special as well, I think, really, Dave, is that you don't dress it up in anything other than what you are. And so that's what I love about your videos. It's just you.
I try to keep it
Yeah.
simple. I figure if I try to make it too complicated, it's going to get real expensive, and I'm not a
What
wealthy.
was that?
But so my kind of goal is I want to make sure that I sing songs that I don't want people to forget. So there's so much information and so much music coming out that it's easy to have these songs that just kind of the next generation might not know about or might not remember. So I feel like it's my job to try to do things so that some of these iconic songs, which are always going to be good and always going to be excellent, just get a new take, a new life, maybe something performed to this new audience for what they want to hear. Uh, and I also like to think that, if the Judds were, still playing that song 40 years later, 30 years later, they might be bored of playing the same old way and they might try to revamp it and do something cool. So that's kind of my version, is just to give it a little bit of life, a little modernization or a little soul. And so I think you're going to be so excited just for the next chunk of songs that
For
I've already
years,
recorded. It's incredible. I'm so
years.
proud.
For the next few years, it seems.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an epic task, and fabulous, actually, because personally, I think you can't beat a cover, but I love to hear the creativity of what somebody hears in their head and what they portray that song as, because you either sit there and go, I have not thought about it like that. I've not felt it like that. It's so different. And you're quite right. What more of a compliment can it be to have someone take your song and cover it and put a unique spin on it, and for it to be, with the passion that you certainly bring. You know, I think you have blues in you. So where does that come from? Because that's my opinion. I think you have lots of different flavors. I mean, you covered Boys to Men, which was brave and fabulous, and took us all back to nostalgia. I mean, there's nothing like countrying up R&B and swing. I mean, that's
Right.
fabulous. What made you do it?
Uh, I was my mom and dad loved country music and raised me listening. And then they had one album of Lionel Richie, or Commodores rather,
Mm.
and that would just sit. That's what stopped me. Like I could listen to country all day, every day, and it would be fine. I'd sing along. But what got me quiet, what made me sit still with headphones on
No.
as a 6 year old in front of the old hi-fi system, was Lionel Richie's voice, because it was just so passionate, so honest, so true, and there was so much room. Like the different, like, country music has so much music going on, and sometimes R&B and soul music has just a piano or just a guitar or just bass line. There's so much less music going on that you can hear the lyric, you can feel the lyric, you can hear the melody and feel it. And that's the job. That's the reason soul is what it is because it has enough space to touch you. Like that's why Chris Stapleton is getting so much love right now, is because
Yeah.
it's not convoluted with a bunch of production. It's just his voice and a couple of instruments and the truth. And that's kind of what my goal is. And I've got a whole different kind of. I mean, I'm releasing an original, then a cover, then original, then a cover
Oh,
for the
that's
next couple of
fabulous.
years. So, it's going to be everything. I've got some crazy production, loud, rock kind of stuff, and I've got some right ahead country and some straight ahead rhythm and blues. I'm just having so much fun right now.
Absolutely. You're not boxing it in, and that's really important. I say that I hear blues and I hear the soul and I hear so many different flavors and elements, and also tangents, different tangents of country, because country is obviously where your flavor is originated from, but you certainly aren't boxed in at all. You do go out into all the different areas. So what were your particular influences? I mean, I know it was Lionel Richie, but as you were growing up, and we have so many others, what else contributed to your style?
Um, so many things, but yeah, Ronnie Millsap as far as country goes, Ronnie Millsap, Shenandoah, uh, Ray Charles, Willie Nelson. Um, yeah, I would consider Ray Charles really probably the perfect because
Yeah.
he was a great marriage between the rhythm and blues and the country. And Lionel Richie, um, Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, all that kind of stuff. And then, but then there was like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and uh, Our Lady Peace and all these bands that were taking vocals to another level and different kind of singers, different kind of music, different kind of rock. Uh, and I just, man, Chris Cornell's voice was something that was so powerful to me. Um, yeah, people like that could just use their voice in a way that I'd never heard. I wanted to try to be a vocalist like that. I wanted to try to expand and see what I could do. Uh, there's just so much. It's hard to describe every influence when you have a true passion and love for everything. And I try to write songs like all that sometimes too. There's so much I want to get out.
So how is the writing going? I mean, you have two albums out already, if that's right, and lots of singles, and a lot of them are covers. How is the writing going? How do you feel about that? Because writing is so personal, isn't it? It really is unique and personal to you. Do you have more of your own? I know that you're releasing a combination, but do you have plans to release another album?
It's weird because people aren't buying albums,
Mm.
not like they used to at least, and certainly not from a person they don't know yet. I definitely will release more albums, but I've got about 75 songs that I've been
Fantastic.
writing that I've written for years, and I'm proud of them all. Uh, I was planning on because in Nashville you write songs and you hope someone else records them, and then you make money off them singing it. And it just turns out that God wants me to sing, and people, listening over there in Europe and England want me to sing. So I'm just going to put out my own songs that I wrote and stop worrying about other people recording them for me. So I've been sitting on some of these for, a decade, and I'm just going to stop waiting and I'm start doing. I'm gonna start living.
That is an amazing message, and it just goes to show that this isn't about time scale. This is just when each individual is ready. We sit on these things for years until we find the right time to deliver, and this is your time to deliver. Absolutely.
Exactly, because no one's gonna live for you. And if you spend all your time waiting for someone else to do something, then you might waste your whole life waiting. And so I'm not doing that anymore. I want to live. I want to spread this love. I want to give this gift. I want to come out there and play shows all over the world. So if y'all have me, I can't wait to come.
Well, we can't wait to have you over here. We can't wait to have you over here. But yeah, that's your saying: spread love like butter, and I love that.
Peanut
Um,
butter,
and peanut butter, crunchy or smooth?
smooth.
I might have to argue that one. But the thing is, you are all about love because you just got married.
I did.
You
Oh,
did, and tell us about that. You two are just so inspiring, and so we can feel the love over here.
Amy is the best
I'm
thing.
great.
She we were both married before, and I was happily married, and I never thought that I would ever not be. And when I went on The Voice, there was a there was something that was missing in my life, and I didn't know what it was. And my ex-wife, she recognized it too. We parted very amicably. We're still friends, and we still treat each other with great respect and love. And then Amy, I had known her for a long time, and she was just a girl that was I thought was really sweet, really pretty. We had never dated, never talked. She didn't even think I knew who she was. But
But she'd seen you at an engagement party, right?
her sister, I played her sister's wedding,
Did.
and so I've kind of been around them and their life for a long time. But she came to a show with her mom and dad. Her mom and dad knew me. She came to a show with her mom and dad and her brother-in-law, which was a friend of mine. And after the show, she was talking about how she had split up with her husband, and I had talked about splitting up with my wife, and she's like, I just want to travel. And I was like, well, I want to travel. Let's go to Hawaii. And she's like, okay. And and then COVID happened, and we got married about a couple, really not that much longer. We didn't wait around. I think after you go through something like a divorce, you know exactly what the missing piece needs to be. And she was exactly that. She showed up in my life, and she had God in her heart, and she had love to give. And I just couldn't ask for anything better out of this world than I have right now.
That's absolutely gorgeous. And, as I say, you're both really inspiring together. You're very much about love. She's very supportive on your musical journey. I can see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously seeing you, frequently and knowing your music is really important. I always talk about partners, in the industry because, it's hard work. And, if she loves traveling, that's a great thing. So we can't wait to meet her over here too. But how have you found the travel? I mean, obviously things are starting to open up again out there in Nashville for you. Have you started doing some gigs, and how have you found traveling out there together?
A lot. We never stopped. Actually, she's a teacher, and she's been teaching remotely, and she's only got 2 more days, and she's done teaching for good. She's gonna
Oh,
travel with me full time, and be photographer and social media, and handle everything that is our life now. And in the states, there's an airline called Southwest Airlines, and they have if you fly enough, they give you a companion pass, which means whoever you want can fly with you for free. And I fly
oh
enough,
wow.
so she flies everywhere I go for nothing. So it's perfect. She's been going everywhere with me, teaching remotely. So we'll fly to Florida, and she'll teach from there. We'll fly to California, she'll teach from there. So we flew to Hawaii finally, and she taught from there. She'd get up at 4 in the morning and teach those little kids. So
That's amazing.
it's been an amazing blessing to have her and been able to teach from where I'm at. And yeah, I'm so excited because 2 more school days, and she's done for good.
And she's all yours, and you're off you go. You're going on your travels, and
We're
hopefully going
we're, com- we're coming to
to.
England.
Yes, that would be amazing. We'd love to have you over here. We really, really would. Have you been to the UK before?
I have. I did a little tour with a friend of mine who lives up in where does he live? Oh, what's up north? Um,
Quite a few places.
I, oh, I can't.
Scotland,
Newcastle. That's what it is.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he lives up there. So we started there, and then we played all the way down the Pennine Way. Is that something like that?
Yeah.
Like kind of followed that down to London, and then back up. But I got to see Harrogate. I got to see Newcastle, London. Uh, Played a bunch of shows. Where else did I? Oh, we went to like Hull, some strange places, but it was fun.
Fantastic. So you're well traveled. You are well traveled. Um, do you have a band? How are you managing to work your music, and certainly remotely, because you have had some shutdown time over there, I'm sure, and had to work remotely, as most of us have had to, as your wife has had to too as well. So how have you found sort of music? How did you manage?
But fortunately, I've been parlayed pretty much into YouTube and just dedicated to videos, and not trying to go and make people spend a lot of money by asking for tips. There's a lot of musicians that need that, and I've been really fortunate that YouTube with ads and things like that can help generate some income for us. So it doesn't cost someone like you anything. You just wait spend 3 minutes of your time and I get
Mm.
like a penny. But if 10 million people do that, then I get 10 million little pennies, which is nice. And I don't have to ask anybody for money, because there are other musicians like that me 10 years ago that need a $5 tip or need $100 tip. And not saying I don't wouldn't want it, but I don't want to take it away from someone who needs it.
No.
So I've had so many great friends that have made a wonderful living during the pandemic by being on Facebook Live and Instagram Live and TikTok and all that. And I just feel like I'm an old man who doesn't know how to do it.
I think you're doing pretty well. I think you really are, because the videos and the quality that you're putting out, as I say, certainly caught my eye and caught the eye of a lot of people over here. I've realised, because going on them and thinking, why haven't we seen you? Where have you been? Where have you been? Because you have been doing this for quite some time.
I should be better.
And yeah, and the thing is, it just it does feel like I say, like a very long journey, and you're certainly coming into fruition now. And so so what was it like? I've got to ask you, what was it like touring with Miranda? What was it like touring? Because you have met a lot of people on the scene. You have been around, you have spoken and interacted and worked alongside a lot of really fantastic musicians within the country, scene. So, how was that for you?
It was one of the most amazing and fun experiences in my life, and eye opening. You have to figure out what kind of artist you are, and you learn really quickly when you're in different scenarios. Uh, Being on the road, playing every major festival and playing every major, like I played Madison Square Garden. I mean, it doesn't really get any bigger than that as
No.
far as like famous places. But I also realized that that's not where I feel most comfortable. Like I love playing theaters. I love playing for 5 to 800 people that are quiet rather than 20,000 screaming people. Like I have stories I want to tell. I have softer songs that I want to deliver with integrity and where you hear every word, not just throw a party. So uh, I learned with Miranda and her amazing team of people that although I love playing in those kind of arenas and that kind of setting, it's not where I feel most comfortable. Like I think if I came over to England and I got to play again, I would love to play a place that was small that I could get to know and maybe meet 300 people instead of a big place where I would not get to shake hands with anyone.
Intimate. It's about being intimate, isn't it? And
It
it's
is.
like you say, it's like having a songwriter around, something quiet, something that you can explain who you are, and people can get to know you as the artist, as well as just listening to the songs that you sing and it being vamped up.
Right.
Sometimes it is about being intimate and personal, and it's almost like a meeting, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think 100%. I'm not. It's not a braggadocious thing, but I am so much more than just a song. Like
I
I am. I'm a human that has really important feelings, and I love. I mean, if I meet one person that's a fan of my music, and maybe they're going through something hard, and I can help, I make their day a little bit better. I want to make sure I do that, because if I don't, that person may think I'm a jerk. They may think the person they really look up to is not as good as they thought they were, and then they don't ever listen to my stuff again, or they might not get the message from the next song, and they might not. I don't know. There's just so many what ifs. I know that I can control one thing: my heart and my ability to go out there and meet and touch people. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. I think that that's that's what you're there to do, and it's all heart. It is all heart. Um, it's lovely. It's lovely to hear. It's lovely to hear the makings of an artist. You know,
oh,
and
that
finding out
means
finding out what you're about. We can listen to your music, but it's so much. It's so much more personal to find out about who you are. So yeah, you have been on one incredible journey, and I think it's only going to get better and better, because you're so. I think you do everything with integrity, which is fantastic. And I think that there's a broad, certainly a broad array of people that would certainly appreciate what you have to give.
and I'm so excited to share it. And it's things like this, like get to meet you for the first time finally. And you it means a lot because y'all are supporting me and I haven't been able to do anything to give back. Like it's just you being you, and it's your brand of love. It's your way of loving and spreading love like peanut butter over there. Is you're doing your part too, and you're helping so many people like myself, and we don't even get to say thank you a lot of times. There's a lot of probably people you can't get on an interview or can't reach, and you just do it because you want to. And so thank you for what you're doing too. Like
Oh,
it's
you're so very welcome, and thank you for saying that. But the truth of it is, you do give back, and that's the whole point. You just said it. You are the person that I will choose to listen to in the middle of the night, and you are the person I have on in the background when I just want that chill time. And so actually, you never quite know the impact that you've had as an artist, really, until somebody tells you. So you're not going to know the impact that you had, and that's why we've all taken such a we've bonded with you so much, because we've recognized not only how talented you are, but that you're a really good soul. And so independent artists have it tough, right? Let's be honest. You've been doing this on your own for years, and as you said, it's expensive, it's time consuming. There's lots of elements to that which are difficult, and so you also put the time and the effort and the passion and the risk, huge risks as well, in going out there and just believing fully in what the messages that you're giving.
Yeah, I believe in it so much, and I guess it doesn't ever feel like work. It doesn't ever feel like I'm putting any effort in at all. It just feels natural. Like at this point, uh, I'm just I'm kind of just following this path that God's put me on, and I don't have any desire to look left or right. I'm going 100% in one direction, which is to meet more people and to reach more people and to get my music to more people so that they can spread love on their part, like you're doing. Because if I can make one person say spread love like peanut butter and believe it, then I've done it. And if I can do that with 5 people and they can do it to 5 people, then we got our own pyramid scheme of love, which I'm happy with.
It is. I love that, and I love that metaphor, that pyramid of love. That's absolutely gorgeous, because even when I first saw your tag on Facebook, it's the little things, isn't it? Dave Fenley loves you. I was like, oh, it just gave me warm, fuzzy feelings inside. And it's like, that's great. This is a guy who really, really is trying to just, get out a positive message when times are tough right now. They've been really, really tough, especially on the music industry as well. And so, I've seen that Nashville has certainly opened up and is buzzing again. And obviously from our perspective, we still look at Nashville and Texas as like the absolute hubs of country music.
Sure.
So you've been around for a long time, and obviously come from one of the hubs. Where are the venues that you love best? Because I do love a venue, and like you say, you've probably had big venues, small venues. And what are the venues that really stand out for you?
In Nashville, my favorite place is called the Listening Room. I mean, it's just a really great. It's 4 people, songwriter round. It's where you get to know the artist and get to meet the people and hear the message behind the song. Third and Lindsley is another great place. The Opry, and there's a place called City Winery. Those places are just where you can really have great sound, great artists. And then in Texas, Lukenbach is just like historic, great place to go. Just be creative. Green Hall and New Braunfels, Texas. Those are my 2 like go to favorite places in the hill country.
Oh, honestly, so jealous. Honestly, we've got some amazing venues waiting for you over here, Dave. Well, honestly, it's been absolutely wonderful to finally meet you and to catch up with you, but also to learn that little bit more about you and meet you properly. And
Yeah,
we're happy to see you over here in the
UK. Been a blast. I do want to let everybody know that God in It, my new single, comes out May 28th.
Yep.
So you can pre-save it now if you can direct your people to follow on Instagram or Twitter or any of that, TikTok. I'm trying to get better at all that stuff. Instagram and Facebook, all that. Then they can pre-save. I don't know if you want to hear a little bit or if you just
I'd absolutely love you to play me something. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I was going to say to you, Dave, also, what is the next single that's coming out after that? So you're saying 2 weekly. So what have we got? Okay, you don't want to tell us what it is, but when?
Oh, I
what
can tell you. Well, 2 weeks. I think it's June 12th. Will be Desperado from the Eagles, and it is so. I'm so proud of it. It is so good.
Can't wait to hear it. Okay, what are you going to play for us, Dave?
Can you hear this? This has God in it. I'm going to play the new single so that people can get excited about it. This is the message that I'm talking about. This is why. This is the song that I wrote during the pandemic. That I want the world to have more of God and of love, and that's why this is starting out the whole thing, because we need more of this. And the whole, I mean, every line in the song is pushing towards just be good to one another and put God in the life because we need it. So this is called God in It. Farmer waiting on a rainy day, praying for some love to come down. Sun's gonna rise, made them plants grow high. Them goodies gonna come out the ground, 'cause it's got God in it. Friday night lights in Texas, both sides kneel down to pray. Well, one's gonna win and one's gonna lose, but they're all gonna be okay, 'cause they got God in it. Kinda feels like a hallelujah, and it kinda feels like home. When you know no matter what you do, you're never gonna walk this road alone. You wanna find grace, you gotta have faith. Lord knows the good Lord's willing. But nothing don't mean nothing if it ain't got God in it. Boy and a girl at a picture show, holding hands for the very first time. Someday they might take a vow with some family around, have a real nice life if they got God in it. Kind of feels like a hallelujah, and it kind of feels like home. When you know no matter what you do, you're never gonna walk this road alone. You wanna find grace, you gotta have faith. Lord knows the good Lord's willing. Nothing don't mean nothing if it ain't God. No, it don't mean nothing if it ain't got God in it. This next verse is for those of y'all who lost somebody during the pandemic. Family gathered round a bedside for a soul that's about to fly. Well, it's all gonna be okay, 'cause someday we'll be happy in the by and by. 'Cause it's got God. Yeah, it's got God in it. Kind of feels like a hallelujah. Whoa! And it kind of feels like home. When you know no matter what you do, you're never gonna walk this road alone. Wanna find grace, you gotta have faith, yeah. Lord knows the good Lord's willing, yeah. Nothing don't mean nothing if it ain't God. No, it ain't mean nothing if it ain't got God in it. If it ain't got God in it. There you go.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I feel incredibly privileged to have that here right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
You.
Thanks for letting me be on the show. Golly, it's fun.
God, it's my pleasure. It really is our pleasure, all of us here at countryradio.uk and all the listeners in the UK. We absolutely adore you. We really do. And we can't wait to finally meet you.
Thank you so much, Jess. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time today, Dave. We'll definitely see you again soon.
All right. Spread love like peanut butter.
You do that, and so will we.
All right.
Hi, guys. It's Jess T on countryradio.uk. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and know that there will be plenty more music videos, live exclusives and performances from country music artists across the UK and beyond.